Hello land dwellers, this is Isaac here. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom finally got its first trailer on Thursday, and there's something I'm sure a lot of us are wondering. Why did Warner Brothers take this long to release it? I mean, for one, they're releasing two other movies just 5 days between this one with both Wonka and The Color Purple, and both movies got trailers a few months ago, so why'd this one take so long to come out? And beyond that, this is a sequel to what else but Aquaman, which is the highest grossing DC movie of all time. And if you're wondering, I personally enjoyed it. I mean, sure, the writing could have been better, but it was otherwise a really fun watch with some incredible visuals, exciting action, a score that has no right to go as hard as it does, and decent acting. Naturally, given how big the movie was, you'd think that there'd be more hype for the sequel, and yet Warner Brothers has done about the same job marketing it as Universal did with Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken. So that brings me back to the question I asked earlier that just so happens to be this video's title: why is Warner Brothers not marketing Aquaman 2? Did they just forget it existed, or is there something deeper to this story? Well, I compiled a few reasons as to why Aquaman 2 isn't getting the advertising attention you'd expect it would have. Before I start, I just want to point out that this is all speculation, so don't take whatever I have to say as if it's 100% true. With that said, let's start with perhaps the most expected reason I'd talk about of them all.
No.
Orlin, look at this.
You pooped yours?
Yep, we all saw this coming. I don't think I need to explain the whole courtroom drama surrounding Mara actress Amber Heard and her ex-husband Johnny Depp, where she was found liable for abusing him. Yet even before the verdict, there was a lot of evidence that supported Depp's innocence. Did that matter to Warner Brothers? No. And did it also matter that another actor employed by them has a whole rap sheet of recent offenses? Also no. Given Warner Brothers siding with Heard and Ezra Miller, naturally, regarding Aquaman 2, although I will circle back to The Flash later, a lot of people weren't happy with this decision, and a lot of people will likely be boycotting Aquaman 2 so as to not support a movie that's starring someone who was found liable for domestic abuse, similar to what was the case with The Flash and The Secrets of Dumbledore, although that one also had to deal with all the controversy surrounding Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling. Other than the Batman and League of Super Pets, DC's recent theatrical output has been doing quite poorly financially. Granted, that was sorta understandable in 2020 and 21 due to the ongoing pandemic, but even after movies began getting back into full force and more box office hits came out in 2022, they've still been struggling. Black Adam was supposed to change the hierarchy of power in the DC universe, and it bombed. Shazam! Fury of the Gods was a sequel to one of the more critically praised DCEU films, and it bombed. And The Flash, well, we all know what happened with The Flash. Also, I know Blue Beetle was a moderate success for its budget, but its earnings were still low compared to not only other movies that released around the same time as it, but also compared to some of DC's previous, more successful movies. So what do these movies' failures have to do with Aquaman 2's advertising? Black Adam and The Flash received a lot of hype leading up to their releases. Starting with the former, it starred one of the biggest celebrities out there and would be the big screen debut for one of the most powerful DC characters, but critics weren't crazy about it and it underperformed at the box office, leading The Rock to move on to his next vanity project, the Moana remake that literally nobody asked for. As for The Flash, that had a lot more going for it. Of course, it's finally the character's turn for a solo film after he appeared in both versions of Justice League. It'd be the big DC reset movie, and it was going to be about the multiverse since that's been becoming a more popular concept recently, explaining the return of Michael Keaton as Batman. But it also starred two Ezra Millers after all the legal trouble the actor found himself in, and the multiverse element of the film was mainly used to give us uncanny CGI necromancy of deceased actors for the sake of fan service, not to mention the rest of the movie's CGI makes cats look like the Avatar duology. And the worst part, despite being about the multiverse, they didn't even go to the universe where the Lego Batman movie takes place in. Come on, movie, even Spider-Verse managed to include a Lego universe. What's your excuse? Jokes aside, with all these factors taken into account and the general reception from critics also being underwhelming, this led to The Flash becoming a tactical nuke at the box office. And this brings us back to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Since Warner Bros. Suffered catastrophic losses with two movies they gave a lot of marketing attention toward, it can be assumed that they're keeping marketing costs as low as humanly possible so as to not suffer another loss on that level. But I doubt even that'll work, because if you remember Strange World and Ruby Gillman, both also received extremely little marketing attention, and both went on to be among their respective studios' biggest financial disasters since barely anyone was aware of their existence. So even if Aquaman 2 is the sequel to a billion-dollar blockbuster, if nobody knows it's coming out, chances are nobody's gonna go out and watch it.
Krusty Krab is unfair! Mr. Krabs is in there! Standing at the concession! Plotting his oppression!
This could be one of the more reasonable reasons for Aquaman 2's little marketing hype, the ongoing strikes between SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild of America. As actors and writers continue to fight for more livable wages and job security from the threats of AI, a lot of movies have been pausing production or even having their releases delayed due to strike guidelines prohibiting strikers from working on or participating in promotional material for major films. And assuming the people who worked on Aquaman 2 are actively participating in these strikes, then it's likely that Warner Bros. Has no choice but to hardly advertise it unless they and other executives at the AMPTP stop acting like all these greedy CEOs and business people from other movies and TV shows and actually pay their actors and writers. In conclusion, no matter the reason for why it took so long for us to get a trailer, it's safe to assume Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is doomed to fail financially, and considering the post-production nightmare it went through, it might also fail quality-wise. Again, I know its predecessor was a hit, but if Warner Bros. Is doing this poor of a job to let people know that it's getting an encore, chances are that nobody will go watch it. Then again, it doesn't come out until December, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see how things play out. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!